I remember when life was simple, just me, Mom, and Dad. We weren't anything special, just a regular family making the most of what we had. Dad worked as an accountant, always buried in numbers, but the moment he walked through the door, he'd light up. Mom was a teacher, always full of patience and warmth. Weekends were for road trips. We'd pile into our beat-up station wagon, crank up Dad's oldies playlist, and hit the road. Mom would sing off-key, not caring one bit, while I sat in the back pretending to be annoyed but secretly loving it. We stopped at greasy diners, sharing burgers and milkshakes. Mom always stole my fries, claiming she was testing them for poison. At home, Friday nights meant pizza, sprawled out on the living room floor watching some cheesy movie. Dad would try to explain the plot. Mom would tell him to hush, and I'd just enjoy being there, in that moment, with them. Then, things started to change. Mom was tired all the time. At first, we thought it was just work stress. Then came the doctor visits, the hushed phone calls, the worried looks. I didn't fully understand, but I could feel the shift. The laughter faded, the road trip stopped, and pizza nights became silent dinners. One night, I overheard Dad on the phone, his voice cracking. "The treatments aren't working. I don't know what we're going to do." That's when I knew. Things would never be the same. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because it was supposed to be pizza night. But instead of sitting on the floor, laughing and stuffing our faces, we were in a hospital room. Machines beeped. The air felt heavy. Dad sat me down, voice shaking. "She's gone, sweetheart." Everything went numb. I couldn't process it. Mom, my rock, my best friend, was just gone. I stood there, frozen, as Dad pulled me into a hug, his tears soaking into my hair. The next few weeks were a blur. Black clothes, condolences, people, whispering how sorry they were. I kept waiting for her to walk through the door, to tell me it was just a bad dream. But she never did. 6 months later, Dad started going out more. I thought maybe he was trying to heal, to move forward. Then one day he introduced her. "Emma, this is my daughter, Olivia." She was tall, blonde, and nothing like Mom. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "I've heard so much about you, Olivia," she said, leaning in a little too close. When Dad wasn't looking, her expression changed. Cold, calculating. I knew in that moment, this woman was going to be a problem. At first, she played the role of the caring girlfriend, helping with dinner, watching TV with us, even pretending to be interested in my homework. But when Dad's back was turned, the mask would slip. "Listen, kid," she hissed one evening. "I'm here to stay, don't get in my way." I tried to tell Dad. He brushed it off. "Olivia, I know this is hard, but Emma's a good person. Maybe you need to talk to someone about your feelings." I couldn't believe it. He actually thought I was making it up. Before I knew it, I was sitting in a therapist's office, being told I had adjustment issues. Meanwhile, Emma painted herself as the supportive stepmother-to-be, telling relatives I was struggling. A year and a half after Mom passed, Dad dropped the news. "Emma and I are getting married. We thought it'd be best if you spent the summer at camp, give you time to adjust." Translation: they wanted me out of the way. When I got back from camp, nothing was the same. "Welcome home, Olivia," Emma said, smiling like she hadn't just torn apart my life. "We need to talk about some room changes." My stomach dropped. Dad beamed. "Emma's pregnant. You're going to be a big sister." She led me upstairs talking about nursery colors. Then we stopped outside my room. Except it wasn't mine anymore. The posters were gone, replaced by pastel wallpaper. My desk vanished. A crib stood where my bed used to be. "Where's my stuff?" I barely got the words out. Emma waved a hand. "We moved you to the guest room. It's cozier." The guest room was barely bigger than a closet. My things were shoved into a pile on the bed, some still in boxes. "This is temporary, right?" I looked at Dad. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That was my answer. The next few years blurred together. Emma controlled everything. My little brother Noah was born, and I barely got to spend time with him. "Be careful, Olivia," she'd say, snatching him away. You might drop him. Or, he's sleeping now, maybe later. Excuse after excuse keeping us apart. Dad was too busy to notice, too busy to care. By high school, I counted the days until I could leave for college. Emma tried convincing Dad I should get a job instead. It'll build character, she insisted. But for once, Dad pushed back. Her mother wanted her to go to college. She's going. The day my acceptance letter arrived, I cried. Not just because I got in, but because I was finally getting out. College was freedom. I threw myself into my studies, built a life of my own. Advertising became my passion. Dad and Emma drifted further into the background. Even on graduation day, they didn't show up. Just a text. Congrats on graduating. Dad and Emma. That told me everything I needed to know. A few years later, Dad called out of the blue. We're moving to a new house. We'd love your help. Maybe we can reconnect. I hesitated, but when he mentioned Noah, now 12, I agreed. When I got there, Emma had conveniently sent Noah away for the weekend. She didn't even try to hide it. It's just easier this way, she said with that same fake smile. Then, as if nothing had happened, she asked me to handle the food for their housewarming party. I agreed, and that's when I saw my chance. I ordered from a high-end Italian restaurant. Paid for it. Myself. Everything was set. Then, the day before the party, the restaurant called. Your stepmom asked to change the delivery to today. Is that right? I froze. No, the party's tomorrow. Emma was trying to cut me out. Again. So I canceled the order. The next day, as I scrolled through social media, I saw my cousin live streaming the party, a day early. Emma, smiling, for the camera. Someone off-screen asked, "Where's Olivia?" "Oh," she said sweetly. "She's always been a bit off. Mental health struggles, you know." Then she clapped. Now, who's ready for some amazing Italian food? Except there was no food. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. Guests were getting restless. Emma called the restaurant on speaker. Sorry, that order was canceled. Silence. Then Dad called me, furious. I answered calm. Dad, why did you change the party date? Why wasn't I invited? Silence again. Emma lost it. She shrieked, cursing me. But it was too late. Everyone saw the truth. And just like that, Emma's mask was gone. After the party disaster, I expected chaos. And that's exactly what happened. My phone blew up with messages from Dad, Emma, and even some relatives. Some demanded explanations. Others just wanted the drama. I ignored them all. I had nothing left to say. Then, a week later, Dad showed up at my apartment. He looked terrible, tired, like he hadn't slept. Olivia, I messed up. I didn't say anything, just crossed my arms and waited. He sighed. I let Emma control everything. I let her push you out. I saw it happening and I didn't stop it. I stayed quiet. I wasn't going to make this easy for him. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to fix this. I want my daughter back. I stared at him for a long time. Part of me wanted to slam the door in his face. Another part, the one that had spent years wishing he'd open his eyes, wanted to believe him. It's not that simple, Dad. He nodded. I know. That was the beginning. Dad started calling more, checking in. He even asked if I wanted to meet up for coffee. At first, it was awkward, like we were two strangers trying to remember how to be family. But then one day he brought Noah. Seeing my little brother, now almost a teenager, hit me harder than I expected. He looked up at me nervous. Hi, Olivia. Hey, bud. He grinned. I saw what you did to Emma at the party. That was awesome. I laughed, shaking my head. Yeah, well, don't tell Dad that. Noah became the bridge between me and Dad. We met regularly, catching up over the years we'd lost. And slowly, Dad started to step up. One day, after months of these meetups, he finally admitted it. I asked Emma to leave. I blinked. What? He sighed. She ruined everything. Not just with you, but with me. With Noah. I thought I needed her, but all she did was control my life. And I let her. It wasn't an apology for everything, but it was something. Emma was gone, and for the first time in years, it felt like I had my dad back. I don't know what the future holds for us. There are still wounds that won't heal overnight. I'll never forget how easily Dad let Emma erase me from our home, our family. But I also see him trying, really trying, to make things right. Noah and I are closer than ever. He texts me all the time, sending his drawings, telling me about school. And Dad? He's learning. He's present. He actually listens now. As for me, I've built a life I'm proud of. My career is thriving, and for the first time in a long time, I feel free. Looking out at the city lights from my apartment, I hear Mom's voice in my head. You're stronger than you know, Olivia. And for the first time, I believe it. That's where my story stands for now. I won't pretend everything is perfect because it's not. Healing takes time. Some things I may never fully get over. But I'm no longer holding on to the past, waiting for apologies that may never come. Dad and I are working on our relationship. I set my boundaries, and he respects them now. It's different, but at least we're moving forward. Noah and I, we're making up for lost time. He's still just a kid, but I see so much of myself in him. And no matter what, I'll always be there for him. As for Emma, she's gone. Out of our lives. The family doesn't talk about her much anymore, and I have no interest in checking in on her. She got exactly what she deserved. But the best part? I'm happy. Truly happy. I have a career I love, a life I built on my own terms. I don't need their approval anymore. And that's the greatest revenge of all.